Hi, I'm Billie Jo Clausen, and this is my master's presentation entitled Preparing to Write a Book. As I began to answer the question about where my book came from, I first said, "You want the truth?"
You don't have to answer that question. I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Then, bubbling up from deep within, emerged the story of this book. I will share with you the journey of how it came to be. In Iowa in 1960, I was born into a loving and supportive family and raised to believe that I could do anything I set out to do. Secure in the relationship of my family of origin, I marched out into the world to continue my journey. I went to college and was hired to work as a teacher in Colorado. I needed to gain skills to be able to work better with other people. An early principal signed me up for a course called Leadership Skills for Women, saying, "Billie Jo, it's okay to make waves, but you need to learn how to not tip the boat over." My degree from Iowa State in communication disorder and teaching pre-kindergarten, gen ed, and special ed were enough for beginning my career, but I soon discovered I needed to know more about positive behavior supports. This quest led me to work at the Colorado Department of Education. At the age of 29, I joined the National Project on Positive Behavior Supports. I immersed myself in learning all that I could from the project leaders in order to help teachers and parents support kids with big behavior challenges. I met Michael Delaney in our work at the Colorado Department of Education. We became best friends and took our information on the road in the United States and Canada to help educators and parents understand inclusive education and positive behavior supports. We married in 1992, and our family of 6 became a family of 8. I learned more about babies and toddlers in this process. We moved to Oregon, and I found myself in a preschool classroom and working as an early intervention home visitor for Multnomah Early Childhood Program. And once again, what I knew was not enough. The question arose, when all I know about child development, behavior, and atypical development is not enough for the families I support, what is missing? How can I be more helpful? So once again, I left my crazy loving family, ventured out, and was able to think about taking classes, branching out and deepening my understanding. I went looking and I found the program for infant toddler mental health within a special education master's program available through Portland State University. And I began serious work in relationships, strength-based approaches toward understanding and supporting babies and toddlers within the context of their families, with a wonderful group of people who came together at Portland State University and online for study. Meanwhile, at MECP, we were supported to learn coaching with David Drake and the primary service provider model with Robin McWilliam. In 2008, I became trainer of trainers for the infant toddler positive behavior support effort. During a training where I was presenting to my colleagues, I co-taught with Amy Murphy, and we joined forces and began to formulate how our shared information could help the workforce and parents supporting very young children. I am able to help others bolster protective factors and help babies and toddlers begin to make sense of their world. And Amy Jo, in her counseling perspective, understood brain and brain development and how that impacted behavior and interactions with others. We began presenting together, and Amy Jo and I grew in understanding and completed research together. We shared the content about how to help babies and toddlers heal from trauma, how to identify signs and symptoms, and provide appropriate supports for healthy brain development. In November 2010, Michael, Amy Jo, and I met. We outlined the concepts for the book we wanted to write together. Then everything stopped when Michael died early Christmas morning 2010. I spent a year and a half working through grief, wrestling with the meanings of relationship-based supports, both in my own life and in the lives of the people I was supporting. Then I resumed my graduate work in the summer 2012. I had big questions and I sought answers. I researched deeply to better provide supports to families and to be able to share with and help my colleagues understand our work through positive supports and the infant toddler mental health lens. And the concept of the book reappeared stronger than ever. I did surveys and interviewed others to find ways to translate the rich body of literature and research generated by neurobiologists into workable, usable form for people who need to know the information. Like a bee gathering pollen to make honey, I reviewed the literature and read every book I could find on the topic I needed to turn the information from the field into usable, workable, and applicable information for my intended audience. I stopped people during ball games. I interviewed anybody who wanted to talk to me about the topic, and I learned quite a bit. Then I signed up for a class in professional writing so I could transform the information into a book. My pollen included immersion in these books as well as others. The readings and course discussions inform my practice and forge the foundation of the book I am currently writing. With the help of Danelle Stevens, I purchased these books, The War of Art, Writing Down the Bones, and A Writer's Guide to Nonfiction by Steven Pressfield, Natalie Goldberg, and Elizabeth Lyon. These authors shared invaluable techniques and strategies as my writing process began and continue to inform my writing as I progress through the remaining chapters of my book. While working and attending graduate school online and parenting 6 kids, I learned something about balance, and I learned a lot about getting unstuck from my writing class. The next slides are the pivotal learnings from the class that helped me get to the actual writing of the book. During that class, I focused on my writing. I learned how to get unstuck. In this picture, the hen represents ideas, the kitten research, and the dog my intentions. The simple truth is, before the class, they were all stuck in my head and I was going nowhere. There was risk involved. I thought maybe if I take a writing class, I will stop procrastinating and do this thing I wanted to do my entire life. I signed up for the class. I joined my colleagues in studying and talking about the writing process. Then I received a gift. The gift was the process we followed to do our work in the class for Dr. Stevens. The circle of writing that she taught us was how to plan, how to pilot, and then produce, and then repeat that process with each chapter or each writing adventure we were attempting. So I planned and piloted. I read many books on my chosen topic. I surveyed an intended audience to determine what they wanted and needed in the product. I began writing. I planned with my co-author. I began to locate publishing options. I purchased and utilized the 3 books I already talked about. I got feedback from parents, psychologists, counselors, my supervisors, early interventionists, and many others on the first chapter of the book. I developed and took a survey online that continues to be active, and my audience is informing my writing by letting me know what it is exactly that they want me to write about and how they want me to share the information. So this is an active survey that I can repost to generate more responses or add questions to as I move towards publication of my book. Presenting the information to audiences with and without Amy Jo has given me some of the clearest feedback. When talking through the concepts with a live audience, there's a type of give and take that happens with the immediate feedback from their expressions, their questions, the shared dialogue that cannot be replicated any other way. I use books, puppets, and slideshows to help get the concepts across that will be expanded into written form in the final copy of the book. It is from this venue I discovered the most straightforward language provided the clearest understanding and the greatest probability of incorporation of the concepts presented into day-to-day life. Interviews and conversations above pictured are my main feedback group, who I have spent countless hours in conversations with about how to best present the topics of the book. They represent the demographics of high school students, public school art teacher, graduate student in communication disorders, and an active school psychologist. They are also my children and my daughter-in-law. In-depth conversations with the people that I support. I have an amazing circle of past and present parents I support, friends and colleagues from years of intense work across 3 states and then this whole nation. Many have been willing to join with me in the journey of in-depth exploration of the theoretical and conceptual frameworks of infant, toddler, mental health, and parental support, as well as the underlying brain development. Together we have identified the wording that creates barriers to understanding and the conceptual boost which promote application of the ideas and strategies that become a way of life. I produced book chapters. I used the opportunity of the class to find a voice to begin writing a book about helping babies and toddlers heal from trauma. Research yielded many books available are too vocabulary rich for the audience I want to reach. Polling the intended audience informed my writing to include big ideas. I continue to write because the message of the book, which includes tools for understanding brain development, interaction, and a process for healing after trauma, is necessary and important for parents, caregivers, and providers to hold in their hands for application in their homes, in their daycares, anywhere babies and toddlers live, grow, and thrive. The pledge of an infant-toddler mental health specialist is that we will speak for babies. We know how to bolster protective factors while diminishing risk factors through love and routines and making sense of what has happened through stories. Healing Broken Hearts and Mending Minds. Look for this book on stands sometime in 2013. I will include my gratitude to the instruction, dialogue, and structure provided in Dr. Donnell Stevens' class, and I will include gratitude for the challenges and questions and support provided by my advisor, Dr. Leslie Munson. Next steps. I will continue the planned pilot produce cycle through the next 3 chapters of the book. I will work with friends, parents, colleagues, and others to make sure the critical concepts are clearly written and easily applicable. I will continue to present and get live feedback from real audiences and work closely with Amy Jo to continue to craft the product. I will obtain necessary permissions from Cited Works and find a publishing company to work with. I am committed to finish this product and to use it in my important work with babies, toddlers, and the people who love them. I will fail only if I stop writing. And as Yoda said, no, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. And I shall do. These are the references and resources that I used for this effort in writing. Thank you for your time and listening. I look forward to answering your questions.